So talking about content, content is king. I don't know anybody who's created more content than Trevor Hawking. And that's just when I worked with Trevor back at Lucas Oil. Now Trevor's in the print side as well as the digital side, but more so than video. Trevor, let's talk about how to get into the media and telling stories through the media, because I don't know anybody who does it better than you.
Well, what a compliment. Obviously, thank you again for having us here. Um, yeah, media's changed, right? I first started my first broadcast show was back in 92. And to look at what not only linear turned into digital, that turned into over the top on demand, that now it's turned into social media, really. And for those who haven't like really plugged into, the Joe Rogans of the world, the Zuckerberg last night, just listening to what they're thinking about how media is going to get distributed. How do you get into media? Media is everywhere, right? So I think the biggest thing is knowing who's covering what you're in, right? And that's what I tell a lot of people. Even back what we did, from off-road to best in the desert to drag boats to sprint cars to late models, it all correlates, right? It all has the same endemic sponsors to a degree, whether it's tire, they all have the same sponsors and the same people working in it. I think today in media, you need to know who's covering it, right? Who's covering, and that includes print. And a lot of people now, print, it's not print, right? I work for a print company because they have a legacy, right? And the reason why I went and worked for this company is because of the history they had. And this is what everybody's talking about. It's relationships, right? So when you're in a series, especially as a racer, when I worked at Lucas Oil Off-Road, I can tell you that some of our biggest and most covered racers weren't in first place. They didn't even get podiums. They were the person that had the best story, that would talk to us too, that would tell us the other stuff. Because as storytellers, right, we know who's going to be first. We know who our top guys are. We're always looking for that up and coming guy. We're always looking for that new story to tell that has it. So I always told the racers, like, hey, how come you're not covering me? I always told them, I'm like, give me a reason. Come talk to our media guys. Don't be shy. They all have media days. And if they don't, even the grassroots guys have media meetings. I mean, you remember those, Alex. How well did we talk to our sponsors then when we had those big meetings with Richie Lewis and all these people, right? So again, I think that's the biggest thing in today's, how do you get in media? Know who's covering and why they're covering. And not just, like I said, print. Who's your influencers there, right? Who are
Right.
the big people there? So that's what I would suggest.
Right.